Thank you, Madam Clerk. The motion has been approved for the Board of County Commissioners to follow the BCC and state and federal meeting protocols for tonight. Thank you all very much. County Manager, concurrence of the Bernalillo County Metropolitan Detention Center Jail Administrative Chief. We would like to take a motion to provide concurrence for the appointment of the Bernalillo County Metropolitan Detention Center Chief. I will give you a few minutes, County Manager, if you'd like to just brief us real quick. You're on mute.
Sure thing, Commissioner. Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, good evening. As you all know, Chief Hernandez is retiring on May the 9th. And of course, we wish him well as he enters his new chapter. So at this time, I would like to bring Deputy Chief Greg Richardson to you for concurrence. So basically what we're looking for at the MDC, as you know, is continuity, leadership, experience, and above all to the respect of staff and others, responsiveness to myself and the County Commission. Those are the traits that we're looking for, and those are the traits that Deputy Chief Richardson possesses. And as you all know, we are enduring these tough times during this COVID-19 crisis. And I will tell you, his leadership skills and experience has been put to the test. He is extremely responsive. He has the support of the staff of the MDC. It is very, very evident. And I just feel like this is a time where I want to continue what Chief Reese, then Chief Hernandez, and I truly believe that Chief Richardson will be carrying on the success of the MDC, especially working with the McClendon, right, Ken? So we really need that continuity, and I really feel that Chief Richardson or Deputy Chief Richardson would be the person for this job. And so I respectfully am coming to you all for concurrence. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Julie, very much. At this
Chair,
time, please.
I was just going to move that we approve the county manager's recommendation.
Excellent. Thank you, Commissioner Colley. Is there a second?
Second.
Second. Commissioner Piscotti. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Julie, for that update. And I would ask now for Madam Clerk to do the roll, please.
Mr. Chairman, Linda Stover, County Clerk. Commissioner Colley.
Commissioner Colley, aye.
Commissioner Casada.
Aye.
Commissioner O'Malley.
Aye.
Commissioner Piscotti.
Aye.
Chairman Talbert.
Aye.
So called.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. It passes unanimously again, twice in one time. I love it. Thank you all very much. Next, item number 6, approval of the consent agenda. I move to
Mr. Chair?
Yes, ma'am. Commissioner O'Malley.
I would just, for discussion purposes, would like to pull off 6C.
Okay, I see that here. Okay, Commissioner O'Malley is asking to pull off the consent agenda. Item number 6C. Is there any opposition to that?
I think we can just do that without a vote. Yeah.
Perfect.
Mr.
Okay.
Chair.
That item will become 8C.
8. I'm sorry, Julianne?
8C as in Charlie.
Okay, excellent. Thank you so much. Okay, so other than that, if there are no other, I move we approve the consent agenda. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, looks like from Commissioner O'Malley and Commissioner Casada. Great. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Madam Clerk, please provide resolution and ordinance numbers for items 6A. Hold on, I'm looking down. 6K, 6L. All right, if I'm getting all these right. 6P, 6Q, 6R. These are all, wow, these are all consent, great. 6S, T, U, and there are combinations of ordinances, ARs, and FRs. So I hopefully got all that right, and I'll leave it now in your good hands, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Chairman, Linda Stover, County Clerk. 6A will be AR 2020-32. 6K will be FR 2020-33. 6L will be AR 2020-34. 6P will be AR 2020-36. 6Q will be Ordinance 2020-10.
Madam Clerk, if I could just stop you real quick for item 6P. Should that be AR 2020-35?
Oh, it is. I'm sorry. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good for you, Julie. Okay. P is AR 2020-35. Okay. Q is Ordinance 2020-10. R is Ordinance 2020-11. S is Ordinance 2020-12. T is Ordinance 2020-13. U is AR 2020-36.
Wow. Excellent. Thank you so much.
All right.
So we will get an FR number when we get to item 8C, is what we pulled off. Okay, excellent. On to number 7, adoption of ordinance amendment to county code. First is Fire and Rescue 2015 International Fire Code and Amendments. Madam Clerk, please issue an ordinance number.
Mr. Chairman, Linda Stover, County Clerk, Ordinance 2020-14.
Thank you so much. Julianne, a public hearing will be conducted. Did we receive anything for the meeting record?
There was no public comment received for this item.
Excellent. Okay. So with that, I'll turn it over to Chief Perez to walk us through real quickly this particular ordinance. Chief?
Chair.
Yes, Commissioner Casada.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, I also would like to thank Chief. I did also have had a lot of, issues in my district on not only businesses that have been there a while as they expand, but new businesses coming in, and that we appreciate it that it's doing what the state is doing and what the city's doing, because as Bernalillo County grows, everybody knows that most of the growth happening now will be happening in Bernalillo County, which is good for us. And that's the growth of the state is happening in Bernalillo County. So we really I'd like to thank the chief for his work, for being diligent and being, business friendly and proactive, because of this crisis, when we ever do get out of this, jobs for sure are going to be everybody's number one priority to get people back to work, to get our economy back going, and it's initiatives like this and making sure that we are up to date and being progressive with what's happening in fire and rescue and all the protocols that come along with that with businesses. So I'd also like to thank you, Chief. Appreciate you.
Mr. Chair, Commissioner Casada, thank you very much. And all credit goes to my Fire Marshal, Keith Clark, who went through and spent the time reviewing this entire document and doing some rewrites to it, as well as the legal department for their review of that. It's taken some time, so there's a lot of time and effort that went into it. So credit to all of those who were involved. But thank you for the positive comments.
And thank you, Chief. Thank you, Commissioner Casada. I want to say something else that Commissioner Casada touched on, which is something we all have to be very cognizant of. Is I don't know if you saw, but the unemployment numbers alone for New Mexico jumped from what was, I think, under 5% less than, say, 6 weeks ago to now close to 17%. And that's not even fully recognized yet. So to the extent that when we do come out of this, us being prepared, and I know I saw some things, I think from Mei Ling and her team and all of us being aware to get it jump started as fast as we can. is going to be critical. It really is. And the word jobs, you know, these service industries have been decimated. I mean, Disney World today furloughed 45,000 people nationally. Obviously, Disney World is not in Bernalillo County. However, think of all the small businesses that have stopped in this last 6-week, 8-week period. So thank you very much for that commentary.
So,
with
Mr.
that-
Chair, if I may,
Please, yes, sir.
switching hats, from the EOC emergency operations side, Richard Clark has already started a recovery process for us, and we are starting to reach out to others in the community, to the state, and at the federal level, starting to prepare for that exact opportunity to get us back into our normal sense of business. And how do we recover from that, from the unemployment side? Working with a lot of the other economic development folks, not just our own internally. So we've got actually now a dedicated resource that will work together with Mei Ling and her team to get us prepared for that opportunity when we come out of this.
And thank you. And I saw that press release as well. And I'm sorry, Mr. Clark, if you're on, I apologize for missing that. Chief Perez, thank you for bringing that to our attention. It just shows the amount of people we have at Bernalillo County thinking ahead as to what will happen next, and that's critical. So thank you. So with that, I'd like to motion to adopt ordinance 2020-14. May I have a second?
Second.
Commissioner Casada, thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Mr. Chairman, Linda Stover, County Clerk. Commissioner Colley,
Commissioner Colley, aye.
Commissioner Casada,
Aye.
Commissioner O'Malley,
Yes.
Commissioner Piscotti. Aye. Chairman Talbot.
Aye.
So called.
Thank you, Madam Clerk, very much.
And real
Okay.
quick, Commissioner Talbert, if just for a point of record, if we could have the roll call vote for consent agenda, I think we did a vote for that.
Yes, ma'am. Sorry, I thought we did that. My bad. Madam Clerk, for the roll call consent agenda, please call the roll for consent.
Yes, Chairman. Linda Stover, County Clerk. Commissioner Colley,
Commissioner Colley, aye.
Commissioner Casada,
Aye.
Commissioner O'Malley,
Aye.
Commissioner Piscotti. Aye. Chairman Talbot.
Aye.
So called.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Thank you, Julianne. Item number 8. Wow, we're flying through this stuff. Adoption of resolution. Madam Clerk, can we please have resolution numbers for item 8A, items 1, 2, 3, and 4?
Mr. Chairman, Linda Stover, County Clerk. Number 8A, item number 1 is FR 2020-37. Number 2 is
including any fiscal year 20 Board of County Commissioner approved adjustments as a starting point for developing the 21 budgets. The Bernalillo County biennial budget is presented to the Board of County Commissioners for approval as required by the State Department of Finance and Administration Local Government Division. The budgets are required to be submitted by June 1st of each year per state statute. The budget represents a balanced and comprehensive view of county funding requirements for the next biennium beginning July 1, 2020, including maintaining the DFA 3/12 reserve requirement of $84.5 million and the revenue stabilization reserve of 5% or $16.4 million. However, given as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, revenue and expense contingencies have been incorporated into the FY 21-22 biennial budget. These include delaying the implementation of various initiatives and related expenses or total removal from the budget. Additionally, all revenues will focus on gross receipts tax revenue will be closely monitored and projections adjusted accordingly. Final adjustments will present it for approval to the Board of County Commissioners in August or September of this year. With that, the first motion is to approve the establishment of the general fund biennial budget of $341,754,213 million for fiscal 21 and $334 $45,925,641 for the planned budget for FY22. The next, Mr. Chair, if it's okay, do you want me just to read all of the motions and then I'll stand for any questions or?
Yeah, I'm okay with that. Are we good with that, Ken? You're on
Okay,
mute.
I'll continue. So
Sorry.
motion 2 is to approve the budget resolution number 2, establishing the Bernalillo County non-general fund biennial budget of $208,710,216 for FY21 and $185,461,837 for the planned budget of fiscal 22. Also, the third motion is to approve the financial resolution establishing the County of Bernalillo carryover budget for multi-year projects of $159,580,504 for fiscal year 21. The fourth motion is to approve administrative resolution to support the grants and projects listed in attachment C funded by various sources in FY21 and FY22 for the receipt of federal and state funding. Motion 5 or action 5 is approve converting 20 term positions detailed in attachment D to permanent status. 6 is to approve 34 new full-time regular positions detailed in attachment E. Motion 7 is to authorize the county manager or designee pursuant to Administrative Resolution 2018-49 to execute all agency contracts and cooperative agreements on behalf of the BCC as detailed in the contract listing, which is attachment F and F1, and to authorize the county manager or designee to amend contract prices in accordance with the limits stipulated in Administrative Resolution 2018-49. The last motion is to authorize the county manager or designee pursuant to Administrative Resolution 2018-49 to seek reimbursement to the general fund for any project or initiative funded by the general fund that subsequently receives funding in whole or in part from an alternative funding source, such as another agency, bond proceeds, or grants. If the amount exceeds county manager authority, the item will be presented to the Board of County Commissioners for approval. I stand for any questions.
Commissioners, any questions related to budget FY21 and FY22? Okay, hearing no questions, we'll move forward. Mr. Martinez, are we good with approving as a group, or would you like us to approve each motion on each number?
Mr. Chair, I think you've described each motion, and I think as long as it's clear to all members voting that you're voting on all of them, unless anyone would like to divide the question, if there's a different thought with regard to one question as opposed to the next. But if there's no request to divide the question, I think you can vote on all three at a time. All of them at a time, I mean.
Okay, does anyone have an objection? Okay, well then I would make the motion to approve FY21 and 22, items number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, as presented by Deputy County Manager Reagan. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Piscotti. Thank you. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Awesome. Motion carries unanimously. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Mr. Chairman, Linda Stover, County Clerk. Commissioner Colley,
Colley, yes.
Commissioner Casada,
Yes.
Commissioner O'Malley,
Yes.
Commissioner Piscotti. Aye. Chairman Talbert.
Aye.
So called.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Madam Clerk, members of the commission. Okay, we're now on item 8B, real estate acquisition of properties located at 517 and 521 Cardenas Drive Southeast. And we will need an FR number, Madam Clerk, for item number B4.
Mr. Chairman, Linda Stover, County Clerk. B4 will be FR 2020-41.
Okay, thank you so much. So There is a motion, and I would, for items 1, 2, and 3, but number 4 is specifically sponsored by Commissioner O'Malley. Commissioner O'Malley, would you like to speak to item 4? Approve financial resolution appropriate from the general fund balance for acquisitions of properties 517 Drive Southeast and 521 Cardenas Southeast in the amount of $440,000. Commissioner O'Malley?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Lisa, did you want to just introduce this item and just talk a little bit about it?
Yeah.
I think you had some.
Yeah, yes, I would, Commissioner. Thank you very much. Mr. Chair, members of the commission, Lisa Cedillo White, Deputy County Manager for General Services. This particular agenda item motion is to authorize the county manager to execute a purchase agreement for the acquisition of 517 Cardenas in the amount of $165,000. And second motion is to authorize the county manager to execute a purchase agreement for the acquisition of 521 Cardenas Southeast in the amount of $115,500 plus closing costs. The third motion authorizes the county manager to execute subsequent amendments and all documentation necessary to perfect the title and the above proposed property acquisitions. Little history. The two properties are both located in the Southeast Heights. They are located next to each other. 517 Cardenas is a fourplex built in 1955. It is zoned multifamily, high density. It is approximately 1,379 square feet. The proposed purchase price of $165,000 is within the range of properties comps sold within the last 6 months in that area, which range anywhere from $131,000 to $249,000. The second property is a single family home, and it is also located City of Albuquerque, and it's zoned residential multifamily, high density. This particular property is about 1,100 square feet. Comps for this particular type of home in the last 6 months sold anywhere from $55,000 to $194,000. So the proposed purchase price of $115,000 is well within range. As stated, the two properties are adjacent to each other, and combined parcel is about 0.32 acres plus or minus. They are centrally located within walking distance of the Bernalillo County Care Facility, the future home of the Tiny Home Village, medical facilities, community addiction service providers, such as there's a particular nonprofit organization that provides single occupancy, transitional housing for people experiencing homelessness as a result of substance abuse. In addition, they're centrally located near other amenities such as public transportation and shopping. The intended use of the proposed properties allows Bernalillo County to expand their ability to provide more transitional and permanent housing for those individuals who are experiencing homelessness. The due diligence efforts have begun. Environmental studies, remediation, surveys, and of course, title work to ensure that we have a clear title for the two properties. At this time, I stand for questions.
Mr. Chair, just to give a little bit of history, we are looking for, as part of our continuum of, housing, the housing continuum in terms of folks coming from situations in the street to shelters to traditional housing to permanent housing. This fits right in there. We are going to, of course, need more housing on the other end, which is people need to be able to go somewhere either transitionally or through permanently affordable housing. And there's an opportunity here. It's zoned so that it can be denser if the properties do need to be scraped. There's an opportunity to build more dense units, and it's, as I said, across from another provider. So it makes sense for this area to look at, I think, our ability to provide more housing for this population. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner O'Malley.
And I would move approval if no question.
Great. Thank you, Commissioner O'Malley. Thank you, Lisa. Are there any other questions before we get a second? Okay, Commissioner O'Malley has motioned. I'll second that. All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay. Motion passes unanimously. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Chairman, Linda Stover, County Clerk. Commissioner Colley,
Colley is aye.
Commissioner Casada,
Aye.
Commissioner O'Malley,
Aye.
Commissioner Piscotti. Aye. Chairman Talbot.
Aye.
So call, sir.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Motion 8B passes unanimously. Thank you both very much. Now to item 8C, which was pulled off the consent agenda, Behavioral Health Single Site Multifamily Project. We need an FR number, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Chairman, Linda Stover, County Clerk, FR 2020-42.
Thank you very much. I think this is Commissioner.
Identified a developer, et cetera. And this kind of funding that goes into the housing nonprofit has a lot of flexibility. And that was the idea, to allow things to happen fairly quickly. But I think for this amount of money, a better understanding of the population that is going to serve. And as we move forward, that it goes through a process where we are updated and there's approval process along the way. And I guess that's what's going to be very important in the county.
The housing board to update you all on that process as it continues. I think there's absolutely no problem with us continuing to make sure that we're following the appropriate vetting and approval processes. Again, we're just trying to move those dollars over in order to continue to make progress on the project. As you know, we absolutely want to make sure that we're doing everything that we can to serve the this very vulnerable population, particularly those who have a high behavioral health need and are needing on-site services, and veterans with also who are also experiencing serious mental illness or high mental health needs and are homeless or precariously housed. So again, we're working to serve this very vulnerable population. It's an opportunity for us to work closely with the housing nonprofit to continue to move that process forward.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Margarita. And I understand, I think, and I appreciate that, keeping us moving forward, that we approved this, I think, back in February 2019 in terms of the overall scope of the project. We now are getting to come to fruition, actually get the money moved, as Commissioner O'Malley talked, as well as you, over to Betty, to be able to move forward with this type of project, which, as we've talked about numerous times, the behavioral health initiative is now really gaining a lot of traction. And I commend this commission for working closely with Margarita and Chief Perez to move us forward in a way that gets these dollars allocated and gets them into the most vulnerable populations. I do agree with you, Commissioner O'Malley, that we always want to have fiscal responsibility, make sure we're all on the same page in that regard. So thank you for bringing that to our attention. With that, having heard Margarita, Commissioner O'Malley, I would make a motion that we approve financial resolution FR 2020-42, budgeting this movement of money over to Betty Valdez and the housing group that she runs, with the caveat, obviously, that we always, that's a double, that we always move forward. Oh, Commissioner Casada.
I second that.
Oh, thank you very much. Okay. So we have a motion and a second.
I have a question. Can I
Yes,
ask a
Commissioner
question?
Piscotti.
Thank you. It sounds like, Margarita, that this did go through many layers of vetting and approval. And so, to Commissioner O'Malley's point, what's the best way to know? What's the best way to have transparency around what's going on in the process?
Mr. Chair, Commissioner Piscotti, I think there are multiple avenues. I think we absolutely owe it to our behavioral health subcommittees to continue to update them on progress. I think we also have the obligation to continue to bring this information forward to the housing nonprofit board through their process. And I think we absolutely can continue to update the commission as we progress forward.
Great.
Sounds great. Okay. Well, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Okay. Motion carries. Madam Clerk, if you would give a roll call, please.
Mr. Chairman, Linda Stover, County Clerk. Commissioner Colley,
Colley, aye.
Commissioner Casado,
Aye.
Commissioner O'Malley,
You're on mute.
Commissioner Piscotti,
Aye.
Chairman Talbot.
Yeah.
So called. Thank you, Commissioner.
Excellent. Thank you all very much. Motion carries unanimously, approved. And oh my gosh, it's 5:52. I don't know if the rest of you are watching this, but it is item number 9, which is announcement of the next commission meeting. Okay, Tuesday, April 28th, 2020 at 5 p.m. Zoom video. So we're going to do this again, same bat time, same bat channel. But thank you all. This went off great. I hope Paul feels the same way, but thank you. Excellent. Possibly close to another record, but I'm not going to speak too fast yet. Thank you all. We can't sign any documents, but we will sign them virtually and we will get them done. With that,
Congratulations, everyone. Well done.
yes, I call this meeting adjourned.
Thank you.